Recording in progress.
शराबी सब शराबी तेरे पीछे ये somebody freaking crazy क्यों हमसे बात करे ना देख के हमको किया नीचे वही जादू ही तो है तू मेरी ले मेरी थोड़ी रातों में खुमारियों की बारिश करे आज बीते नहीं उनसे गुजारिश करे So just on and on बात कर ये शरारतों मेरी रानी Just play the light होना है जो होना है रहेगा होके ही होना है जो मिल जाता है कोई होगा ये जाना मैंने मिलके तुमसे ही I'm feeling it tonight I'm feeling it tonight रात भर बात कर तू मेरे साथ चल मल्टीप्लेक्स में चल रात भर बात कर तू मेरे साथ चल तू मेरी लगा है जैसे हाँ यही बस यही समा है जिसपे जिंदगी जिंदगी है जीनी ऐसे एक पल वो बाकी जैसे कभी जहाँ आके लग जाए गले यार बिना चैन का रे जैसे रात चुपके से तेरे कानों में गए जीना है मरना है तेरी ये बाहों में
Hello, everyone, and warm welcome to Play with Possibilities with me, Dr. Ashwini Chube. How are you all doing? I know so many of you are wondering what is going on. क्या चल रहा है? ये गाना चल रहा है, म्यूजिक चल रहा है, ये मोटिवेशनल लाइव है, गाने का लाइव है, पार्टी है, जो भी है. Play with Possibilities is always a party. And trust me, I will tell you that when you start connecting to this universe from this space of possibilities, every day is a party. Every day is joy, every day is ease. Because even when you are feeling that, okay, something is not right, you know what questions to ask and you know how to change it. This reality in which we live is completely changeable. It's, in school, I had learned these terms for gold, ductile and malleable. It can change form, it can be molded, it can be changed. And we know how precious gold is and how much we all love gold. And our reality is just like that. It is pure gold. And it can be changed anytime because you know how to ask questions. But unfortunately, most of us live in a space where we feel we cannot change our reality. We are some helpless person who is walking towards life from past to future. Nothing is in our control and we are victims. And everything depends on external conditions and things happen to us. But the moment you understand that things don't happen to us, we create things, we start creating magic. I read this book, Secret. I always talk about it. And I felt that, wow, I know there is law of attraction, there is law of manifestation, but what if there is something more than that? What if everything can be easy? And what if I don't need to control everything in life? And what if I can change? And in 2016, I was introduced to something called as access consciousness. Now, you must have heard me talking about access consciousness infinite number of times. How many? Infinite. I can't even count. I have lost the count. But the reason I keep saying this again and again in every live of mine is because when I learned about access consciousness, when I sat in the first class, and when I first class, matlab in the first access class, not in first class, wo bhi, I'm actually, when the moment I said sitting first class, I'm thinking I'm sitting in a A380 in first class and, just looking above the clouds. ठीक है, all that, all right. That also we will create. Anyway, coming back to our when I sat in my first access consciousness class, yeah, this is better. When I sat in my first access consciousness class, at the end of the class, I was blown away. I was like, ऐसे भी होता है? ये तो बचपन में लगता था कि everything is magical. वो stories सुनते हैं ना हम दादी नानी की fairy tales. Like I remember listening to the stories, the fairy tales. I used to make my grandfather read out fairy tales to me every evening. And I had this big book of fairy tales. I still remember. अभी भी होगी पता नहीं. I don't know if it's still there or I gave it away to some children. But I remember my grandfather reading out. I used to tell him that every day one paragraph or one page. And he used to read out those stories to me, those fairy tales of magic and all of that. And I used to listen to them and I used to be happy. And then he used to tell me, what did you learn? And I used to say, oh, magic. Magic is real. And then just before going to bed, my dad would narrate stories of, all the rishis, the ancient Indian rishis who had superpowers. Stories from Ramayana, stories from Mahabharata, stories from the ancient sacred texts of India. And I used to wonder, मुझे भी ये superpower चाहिए. I want this superpower. And then I grew up watching those beautiful, when we were small, when we were young, we are still young, but we were tiny. I remember watching those Mahabharata Ramayana, and the god would just put his hand out and some magic would happen. I would be like, wow, is that even real? As we grew up, we started forgetting those stories and we thought that it's ऐसे बस कहानियां है. But coming back to when I sat in the first Access Consciousness class, and after that class, I started really experiencing magic. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Chennai for some official event, meeting my mentor. And it was a great trip. And I remember uh, I was with my sister. We were coming back from one place where we had just gone to see the place and meet a few friends. And while coming back from that place, we booked an Uber to come back to our hotel. And we sat in the Uber. And just when I was about to give that OTP to start the Uber, when we sit in a Uber ride, we always give the OTP. While I was doing that, the driver's phone fell and the display broke. And he was speaking in English, broken English. I was speaking in broken English. I did not understand. I couldn't speak Tamil. He couldn't understand what I was speaking. And he said, Madam, phone broke. That's what he said. Cancel, rebook. I was like, cancel, rebook. और 10 मिनट रुको और लेट जाओ अनजान शहर में भाषा नहीं आती है what to do. And I started using the access consciousness tools and he said, madam, I cannot put this, please book another cab. I said, okay, I'm booking another cab, but can I request that, it was a little later in the evening, can we sit in the cab till the new cab arrives, please? And he said, yeah, please, please, it's okay. I was like, I don't want to just stand on the road in another city, I don't know anyone, and you'd never know when the cab will come. I started using the access consciousness tools. Started using the tools. And the next ride was showing 13 minutes away. It was already almost 8 p.m. Like, what am I going to do? I don't know what am I going to do. I just kept using the tools instead of going in the victimhood or सब खराब होता है मेरे साथ ऐसा ही होता है वो सब drama में I didn't go. I started using the tools. I started doing the clearings. The next cab was 13 minutes away and 10 minutes हो गए फिर भी the cab was 13 minutes away. I was like, what's happening? Why? And I kept on saying 1, 2, 3 and I kept on using the tools and suddenly the driver is saying, Madam, phone started. It's like, okay, wow. So I said, now can I cancel that? And what should I do? He said, cancel, rebook. I will accept your ride. I cancelled that ride, which was another 13 minutes away. So it was already 10 minutes and 13 minutes. मतलब बहुत ही. And he accepted that booking. His phone started. He said, I don't know how my phone started. And I said, I know how your phone started. I kept on doing the clearings till his broken phone started. Me and my sister reached safely to the hotel. And we just said, how does it get even better than this? This is what I call as play with possibilities. How many of you feel what I was talking was real and how many of you feel कि ऐसे भी हो सकता है? You can just write in the comments whatever you feel. ऐसे भी हो सकता है, ऐसे भी हो सकता है. It just happened. That's the potency of tools. That's the potency of asking the question. Because when we come to a conclusion, most of the times when we are in victim zone, we have come to a conclusion. We feel that things are not going to work out. And the moment we feel that things are not going to work out, we have come to a conclusion. So when people say that, right now I'm in a very lot of things going on, I'm in deep, they've come to a conclusion that that's going to be the reality. But do you question the reality? Do you ask questions? And by questions, don't ask why me, why is this happening to me? No, don't go there. Instead, ask empowering questions. And one of the fundamental things which in access consciousness we believe in is the power of asking the question. And the question would be like, what else is possible? It's one of the most basic questions which we use in access consciousness. And in an access consciousness class, you are introduced to so many empowering tools which can help you get unstuck. This is exactly, that I gave you an example of what does it mean to get unstuck. Did I go into the conclusion that I was stuck, that there was no cab available? I was in a completely new city and it was late. Did I go into the wrongness of anything of that? Did I go into the मेरी किस्मत हो गई कि टैक्सी वाले भैया का फोन बंद हो गया? Did I go there? No. Did I go into ऐसा ही होता है क्या करूं bad luck है? No. I chose to think differently. I chose to ask the universe, okay, universe, help me. Right now, I need to be supported. What else is possible? And of course, now being a practitioner and a facilitator for the last 8 years, these things have started flowing very easily with me. But yes, I'll tell you that right from day one, when I was introduced to access consciousness, I started using the tools. I use the tools left, right, center. I use the tools to get anything and everything and create magic in life, because life is supposed to be easy. Life is not supposed to be difficult. Most of us believe that our way to success is very difficult. Yes, staying in the energy, asking the right questions, having that consistency, and always being in the awareness is the key. But having said that, we unnecessarily make life difficult and we glorify struggle. How many of us think that struggle is big? And how many of us actually keep talking struggle, aise struggle kiya? But the truth is, there is ease, there is support available. The universe is always supporting us. I know people who still, I had some clients who would tell me that I'm angry with the universe. तुम्हारा universe मेरी सुनता नहीं है. मैंने बोला भाई मेरा नहीं है universe, सबका है. आपका भी है. अगर आप trust करोगे तो आप सब, and the capacity, the resilience of getting back to creating more, even when you are feeling stuck and getting unstuck out of that is the beauty of asking the questions and getting unstuck. I totally feel that this example, I can actually write about my experiences with access consciousness and the magic which I've experienced. I always sing that song, Anhone ko hone kar de, hone ko anhone nahi, I would say anhone ko hone kar de, because I believe that when things have looked impossible, people have told me impossible hai, hoga hi nahi, and things have happened. But most of the times we go so much in the wrongness of this reality and the wrongness of, we talk about how bad people are, how people don't cooperate, how people don't help us, how everyone is bad only. And whatever we talk, we create. The same person, when people say, Arey, that people, na, that person is so bad. And I feel, bhai, मुझे तो अच्छा experience आया है. कैसे? Because I don't go into any conclusions about any person. When you go into the judgment and conclusion of anyone, you are not able to receive, whether it is from people, whether it is from things, whether it is from situations. And I always wish I had gotten these tools earlier. I wish I had gotten these tools earlier when I was studying, when I was looking for jobs, when I was feeling stuck in my corporate career. I was feeling that things are just not working out. I wish I had these tools earlier. But obviously, my journey, my life path is towards life transformation, and it would have not been very good if I would have stayed back in the corporate world, because this is what my life purpose is. This is the reason for which I am born on earth. And I enjoy this to all its extent. And I know there are so many lives which I can contribute to with this. And this is exactly what access consciousness is all about. The last year, I had an access consciousness bars class. We are having one this weekend. And every year I take 5 to 6 access bars class, and each class is fun. Each class is joy. Each participant has really received and created magic, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. But I particularly remember this bars class, which happened last July, where one of our participants, she hosted at her place, and it was such a lovely experience. All the participants got their kids along, because the access bars class, if a child joins with a full paying adult, the child gets the class free. It's for below 14 years or below 16 years of age, the child gets the class free. So I remember this, one of my wonderful participants, she hosted me with so much love, with, so much gratitude. And I felt absolutely so happy to, do that class. And all the kids were along, and it was a fun time we had. We were laughing. We were talking about what we love. We were having fun. We were eating some really nice food. She had really ordered some amazing food. And the class was so much joy to each one of us. And it was in July. It was pouring outside in Mumbai. It was crazily pouring. And I was like, okay, because it was in one part of Mumbai, and I had to travel to reach back home. And I was like, okay, what else is possible? What else? I just wanted to make sure that it is easy for me to travel. Both days, although it was one of the most rainiest day in Mumbai, I could go there and do the class and come back. So it was so much fun. But what stood out in that class was one of my participants. She summarized a lot of things what we discussed in the class, and next day she got it. So I really feel that was beautiful, that was amazing. And what I liked about it was one thing which she spoke about, which created that shift in the whole class. And while we were talking, we were absolutely having fun. So, what she spoke about this time was, it is, when we talk about access consciousness, it is the ability to awaken to more capacity, more choice, more possibility, and more life. And she was like, wow, does it mean that there are possibilities everywhere and I'm opening up to possibilities? I said, exactly. And she wrote it in bold. And it was like, wow. It was absolutely wow to each and everyone, because most of us live in a choiceless universe. We believe that we don't have a choice. If we have a choice, what if something wrong happens when we make those choices? And most of us are afraid of making choices. How many of you are afraid of making choices, wondering that what if something goes wrong? Right? Most of us believe that what if things go wrong when we make a choice? And the moment this participant of mine, she said that, Ashwini, possibilities are everywhere and we just have to tap in. And I always see this picture of a big waterfall, ekdam bada wala waterfall, like those, those huge waterfalls which are there. And we are going there with a spoon, or forget spoon. There is this thing which I use in my puja ghar. Marathi may we call it padi, which we use for doing the abhishekam of Lord or something like that. It's a very small spoon. So imagine you're going with a small spoon, something like a padi, which we call in Marathi, and we go there and in that waterfall, that is what we are receiving. That's exactly how it is. The universe is an abundant reservoir of infinite possibilities. Do you go with a spoon? Do you go with this cup? Cup फिर भी थोड़ा बहुत आएगा. Or do you go with a bottle? बहुत कुछ आएगा. Or do you go with a bucket? Or do you know that possibilities are always available? You don't even know to go and store it. Every time you need to have that water, you can just go and be in that waterfall. This is about receiving, whether it is money, whether it is good health, whether it is stability, peace of mind, whether it is feeling happy, whether it is feeling joyful, whether it is having best people who are around you, all your relationships, whether they are your friends, your family, your anyone and everyone. What if everything is a contribution to you? What if everything is like that reservoir, that waterfall of possibilities? But we have so much gone into this belief that everything is not possible, what we want will not happen, things are difficult, life is difficult. We have almost by-hearted and made those things a part of our reality. Our head naturally, we are almost on autopilot, believing that life is a struggle. Access consciousness classes help you to ease out that struggle, because they help you know that you are the creator of possibilities and you can create whatever is possible. The universe is out there waiting for you. And the tools of access consciousness are way more powerful than affirmations. I would always say that I keep asking questions rather than going into the affirmations. I love affirmations though. Every morning I wake up and I brush my teeth and I actually love to say the affirmations. Like there are some great, and this is something which my mentor told me, that when you brush your teeth, say the affirmations, they will create magic. Affirmations are great. I love them. But the questions are way more potent, because when you come to a conclusion, you stop there. But when you ask a question, it opens a door to possibility. It is like, imagine you are driving in an unknown place. Maybe you've gone to your native place and you're driving there and you lose the way. What will you do? Will you just keep coming to a conclusion saying, "Arey, main to rasta bhul gaya"? Nahi. What you will do is you will ask a question. You will meet someone and you will ask them, भैया कैसे जाना है उधर, मुझे उधर उधर पहुंचना है. I'm trying to find my way to my village or wherever I am, and I've lost the way. Please help me. And the person will guide you, right? Think of universe as that person who is guiding you. The universe, but the universe doesn't speak English or Marathi or Gujarati or French or whatever languages. The universe speaks to you in science. The universe gives you an awareness and then you follow that path, and that's exactly how these beautiful tools work. Another thing which my participant and I spoke about, and which I wanted to specially highlight today, is all things are possible all the time and you have total choice. And she wrote this again. She said, what do you mean by all things are possible all the time and you have total choice? Really, all things are possible all the time? I said, yes, all the time. And I have total choice? Yes. We eliminate choice out of our universes. And we create what Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, calls as a choiceless universe. So how many of you are living in choiceless universes? Write me here if you feel that you don't have a choice and there are so many other factors. The reason we don't exercise those choices because we are afraid of judgment. Why we don't? We say that we don't have a choice, but the truth is we have choice. We are afraid to make that choice because if we believe that if we make that choice, someone is going to judge us. Now that person could be a loved one. That person could be someone who is an it's someone whom you have made important and significant in your life. Could be a boss, could be a someone you have made significant, or they could be a loved one. You feel that okay, if I make that choice, they will not like it. And we create a choiceless universe and then we say, I don't have a choice. Blame दूसरों पे डालने में मजा है ना खुद responsibility थोड़े लेते हैं but with access consciousness tools we take 100% responsibility of our life. We know that we are the creators and we know that we can, if we have created something, if something is ugly, we've created it and even we only have the right to change it. We have the ultimate power which we don't acknowledge. So everything is possible at all the time and we have total choice always. The tools empower you to start living in this reality. Now, there are two kinds of tools. In the very first class, which is the access bars, you learn a process called access bars, which helps you release any stuck points of view which are stuck in your body. So, most of the times, we do not know that any traumatic experiences, whether it could be childhood trauma, anything which has made you, taken you into a deep space of darkness. A lot of things happen in our mind. Yes, they do. But they also go beyond that and they get locked in our bodies. And that's why people gain weight, look ugly. Sorry, I don't mean to say ugly in an ugly way, but I know the people who are really who lose their spark, who lose their body shape and they lose their they trauma creates that impact on you. Our faces look different with trauma because we lock trauma in our bodies. Scientifically, they talk about body releasing cortisols and adrenaline and all of that things happen. That's exactly what happens when trauma is locked in your body. Unfortunately, when people go through different kinds of mental illnesses, a lot is being worked with their mind. But what happens? People don't look at body. And that's the reason why, even physicians tell us that exercise regularly, move. All of that is wonderful. But when you get a process called access bars run, there are 32 points on our head with which when gently touched, we don't even press them. Gently when they touched, they release some kind of chemicals through which it helps us release all kind of traumatic experiences with ease. And in addition to this 32 points and the bars, I think an access bars class is a total experience where you learn to facilitate yourself with the basic tools. We use basic tools like I spoke about what else is possible. That's one of the tools. Another tool is who does this belong to, which you learn about. You can watch my videos on my YouTube channel. There are so many videos where I've spoken about what is who does this belong to tool because 99%, 99.9999% of thoughts, feelings, emotions do not even belong to us. We are absorbing them like routers, like psychic, Gary calls us psychic SpongeBobs. So there is so much chitter chatter going on. And the reason sometimes, I meet clients when they meet me for the first time, they say that, I'm not feeling good. I don't know what's happening. I don't feel like talking to anyone. I don't feel like discussing anything with anyone. I wake up, I just cry any day. I don't know what to do. I don't know, Ashwini, kya ho raha hai? And after a few sessions of access bars, that feeling starts dissolving. So with access bars, they release those stuck thought forms, those, and once I had a client who used to come to me for bars, and she did some 6 7 sessions, after which she said, I want my husband also to benefit from this. So can you do his clearings from you? Said he can come and take the sessions from me. So she said he will not do because he doesn't believe in these things. But he was struggling for many years with depression and anxiety and back to back, and he was taking medications, nothing was working. He used to be frustrated. They would end up fighting with each other. And then I said that what if you could contribute to him with bars? So what if you could learn bars from me, and then you can run his bars, because he may not want to come and take, many people, they still have that whole thing that I'm not going to go to a therapist and take something like this. I'm not, I'm all right, I'm fine. Then she learned access bars and she started giving bar sessions to her husband. She also started giving to her children. And within 6 months, a lot of things started changing. And then once she and her husband came to meet me, and she said, he never believed in this. And he said, Madam, मैं कभी इसमें believe नहीं करता था, पर after ये जो इन्होंने मेरे साथ three, 4 bar sessions के बाद he started seeing the difference. And after, then she used to regularly run bars for her husband, and it created so much for him. So this was from a space of where someone was undergoing something traumatic through the mental illness. But there are also people who ask for, things like better work-life balance, more ease with day-to-day life, making more money, having more ease, like wanting to explore the world, travel the world, and they feel so stuck. Leaves nahi mil rahe, boss leaves nahi de raha hai, office mein sab log bahut. With access consciousness tool, all of this becomes ease. So I always tell people that you need not have mental illnesses to come for an access bar session or access bars class. If you may just want to create much more, and with ease it can happen through access consciousness. I always say that, I keep on sharing about these tools, and I especially started sharing these tools with people who are into the mental health space, as therapists, as practitioners, as healers, even psychiatrists, and what if this modality can be an additional thing to their life. I recently spoke to someone who is a friend of mine, and she's a psychiatrist, and I told her about access bars. And she was like, please give me, I want to read about this, because I've heard about it, but there is, in the medical community, um, there is a lot of criticism, which I heard, because they said, oh, these things, they don't work. And then she received one session and she said, Ashwini, this is really amazing. And I want to know more about this because I want to share it with my patients, because what if it can create so much for them? And I always tell people that before you come to any conclusion about what this modality is, experience karo. There are no negative side effects of access bars, like when people take medications, psychiatric ailment medications, there are side effects. Sometimes things just get worse and they don't know what to do. But with access bars, there are no negative side effects. You just feel more energetic, you feel more enthusiastic about life, you feel more happy. You feel, there were people who used to feel very tired. And I told them that run your bars once a week. So these are usually practitioners who have done access bars class, and they can run bars on each other. They can also give bars to others. So of course, if you become a practitioner, you can also give what we call as the bars, is basically the access bars, the 1 hour therapy treatment, which many people say that what treatment ke liye aana hai, we call it the access bars. So when you give access bars treatment to someone, what happens is all their limiting beliefs, their thought processes, which keep them locked, okay, they start dissolving over a period of 6 months, 8 months. It dissolves even more. After 8 years, you become like me, totally, like, completely, like some people would call, okay, she's crazy, because you start believing in the magic, in the possibilities, everything becomes easy. And then, you want to infect the world with consciousness. That's, what happens when you keep doing bars for a long time. But most of the times people do not know that such things exist. So recently I met someone and she said, I did not know something like this exists. I wouldn't have wasted so much time just feeling bad and going into the loop of, all of that. So I ask people, what if you could choose more? What if you could create more possibilities? And I typically do access bars class every alternate month. So I'm doing, of course, now in April, and then I'm doing again in June, and again, and so on and on and on. Of course, sometimes in between, students tell me that please take a class, and we are 6 of us. Can you take a class? I do that as well. If we call it the class gets created, which got created in Hyderabad. There was an IT professional who said that, can you take a class in Hyderabad? And I said, I need at least 5 people to start with. And we said, I can get 6 people. And the class got created. It was unplanned. And I visited Hyderabad and took a class there. It was so much fun. And all the participants, they received so much from the class. It was such an amazing class. So I typically take classes every alternate month. And when I take the bars class, I tell people that, this is, give yourself these 8 hours. It's usually either a one full day class, or if I do it in Mumbai, I do it in 2 half days. I do it 2 afternoons, and people just, that's easier for a lot of people. It's easier for me too. It's more ease for me. So it contributes so much and it opens up to so much possibilities. And I tell people, if you give yourself this 8 hours, I'll tell you that you give yourself these 8 hours and keep using the tools, your life will change. No one will feel stuck in their life if they start using the tools. Gary Douglas founded Access Consciousness about 35 years ago, or could be even more than that. He's this amazing gentleman who lives in the US, and his his work has been like, it has been life changing. And the basic class is called as the bars, after which there is the next level, which is called as the foundation. And then you can do advanced classes and explore and play with the possibilities. And I think playing with the possibilities, I think this video to which I'm right now doing with all of you, wanting to spread the magic of access to each and everyone, wanting more and more people to get infected with consciousness rather than being in the victim mindset. Whether you want to grow your business, whether you want to feel better emotionally, mentally, physically, whether you want more money, whether you want better relationships, better quality relationships, more ease and peace with every day. And if you want to receive more from life, I think these are something which is the best thing you can do for yourself. So, well, I'm doing an Access Bars class this weekend, Saturday and Sunday in Mumbai. And if any one of you feels connected to all what I am speaking, you can get in touch with me or my team. I'm sharing the numbers below. Do get in touch. And if you wish to join a class, and right now you may be totally clueless. I know one of my, she's currently a part of my team and she's a very dear friend. I remember the class was declared, the notes were printed, and all the certificates, everything was ready. The class was supposed to be on Saturday. Friday, everything was ready. I typically keep everything ready by Friday afternoon. And Friday evening, she's calling me and she's telling me, Ashwini, I want to come for the class tomorrow. I said, okay, come. She said, okay. She did not ask anything, kya hai class, kuch bhi hai. She just came, and I remember the class was at 10 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. Madam is there for the class already. And I was like, wow, you are. She's like, yeah, I just want to do this. And the amount of magic she received in that class, it's beyond. And I always say that there are so many people who are still receiving from the first class I did with them. I'm receiving from the very first class I did in Access. I'm still receiving from all the classes with all the senior mentors, with all great Access facilitators, and I'm still receiving because the magic always stays with you. So if you feel connected to what I'm talking, you can just write a DM to me, or I'm also going to share numbers of people from my team who are doing the bookings. And we are so excited to have fun on this weekend with the Access Bars class. So keep playing with the possibility, guys. Know that you have choice always. Know that tools are available. Tap into the magic. Life will never be the same. And if you are really struggling with life right now, I would say that आँख बंद करके आ जाओ. Just come for the first Access Bars class and experience magic. इतना कुछ try किया. Like Gary Douglas says, if your conscious mind had all the answers, अब तक आपके कोई problems नहीं होते. But the answers to your problems lie in the subconscious mind. And to get those answers, or rather to receive that, you need to ask the questions. So tap into that insane mind, ask the right questions, and you will see that life will start changing for you. What else is possible, and what will it take for each and every one of you who is looking for a change, who is looking for breakthroughs, who is looking for magic, to choose this? And what if it can create something bigger to you. This is Dr. Ashwini Chube of Unicorn Insight. To know more, you can DM me or you can write to me and write to my team in all the details given below. This was Play with Possibilities this weekend. I hope and wish you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I don't know about anyone. Sometimes I tell people that whenever I do live, कोई आए ना आए, मुझे मजा आता है. And my friend, I met her last week, one of my newest friends. We met at, we are mentees of the same mentor. And she was saying, बहुत मजा आता है यार अश्विनी तुम्हारे लाइव्स देखने. मैंने बोला थैंक यू सो मच दी लाइव्स देखते हो. क्योंकि मुझे पता नहीं कौन देखता है कोई नहीं देखता है बिकॉज आई एम लाइव साइमल्टेनियसली ऑन 3-4 प्लेटफॉर्म्स. सो कभी कभी आई मिस आउट ऑन इट बट आई जस्ट टोल्ड हर थैंक यू यार आप देखते हो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है. एंड आई टोल्ड हर वन मोर थिंग. लाइव जब मैं करती हूँ मुझे पता नहीं किसको अच्छा लगता है नहीं लगता है मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है. आई एंजॉय दिस लाइव्स. आई एंजॉय chit chatting, doing time pass and doing this talking with all of you, having fun while talking about how much magic these classes have created for me. And while doing that, sipping my green tea and sipping my water. And give me a moment as I'm going to just drink some water and having absolute fun with it. So I will see you in the next episode of Play with Possibilities. Till then, if you're watching this live, good night, sweet dreams. If you're watching from some other time zone, good day. If you're watching this as a repeat, good morning. If you're watching this late night, chalo dekhte dekhte so jao. Thank you so much. And to know more about my classes, know about my work, log on to www.unicorninsight.com. You can even book your sessions online. And keep watching YouTube channel, keep subscribing, keep sharing with your friends. मेरे subscribers बढ़ते हैं मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है. So all of you who are sharing videos with your friends and families, thank you. Blessings, love, and what else is possible. Bye bye, toodles.